Can we talk to Jay Sekulow here?
So sorry. I want to say just a couple points. I'll take some questions, but I want to make a couple of points first. I think it's important. Adam Schiff just said that this idea of the solicitation of foreign interference is deplorable. I wonder if he thought that about the fact that the Clinton campaign had sought, when it's completely corroborated, it's uncontested, the Steele dossier, who was utilizing both supposedly assets that a former British spy had in Russia to get information on the president, then candidate. Was that not foreign interference? Was that not an attempt for foreign interference? So you could get on your horse and act haughty and proud about it, but you know what? Let's look at what the evidence says. And here's what the evidence says. There was foreign involvement, but let's not forget where it originated from. Let's not forget, and we haven't even begun to put on our case yet. We still will not begin until actually tomorrow morning. But I want you to think about this. Where did that foreign intelligence come from? Foreign information come from? It came from connections from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the number 3, whose wife happened to work for Fusion GPS, who happened to be hired by the DNC to happen to do an investigation on Donald Trump. And by the way, she didn't just do it with the Steele dossier. She was also involved with it with, guess what? Ukraine. So let's we haven't put our case out, obviously, haven't begun to. But you should be able to get a sense from what I'm saying right now that this is you're going to hear that. We're going to rebut and refute, and we're going to put on an affirmative case tomorrow. But that's just one issue. And for the life of me, and they've done it, and why they opened up the door as wide as a double door on the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Burisma issue, I guess they figured that was their way of getting ahead of it. We will address it. Because let me say one last thing, and then I'll answer your questions. I always certainly want to answer your questions, but I want you to think about this for a moment. Joe Biden was charged as Vice President of the United States with the Ukraine policy. That was his specific charge. His son went to work for, went on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. First, the vice president said he knew nothing about it. But the State Department knew about it because they were concerned when people were being put up for confirmation that that issue might arise. So believe me, you'll hear about that issue too. Let me take a few more questions. I know.
Specifically, your response to today is about obstruction of Congress. Your response to the Democrats' obstruction of Congress charge.
Well, I thought this has been abuse of power is what they've been talking about.
Today is about they will be doing obstruction.
I've got a very easy response to obstruction of Congress. This idea that you obstruct Congress by exercising, I've said this before, exercising constitutional privileges is absurd. Absolutely absurd. I think what Jonathan Turley said was right, but I forget what he said. That's fine. But what the courts have said, these are fundamentally important rights to the way our separation of power works under our form of government. Next question.
Mr. Sekulow, by bringing up the Steele dossier, are you suggesting that another president was involved?
When another president was involved?
Yeah. You're not, right? So how is the Steele dossier?
No. The Steele dossier was, how did the Steele dossier, well, no, the question is, there was all this discussion about why was the president so suspicious of some of his intelligence information and some of the leaders he was dealing with within his own government. Well, the number 3 at the Department of Justice, wife, was working for a firm that was working on a dossier against the sitting president of the United States. So don't put words in my mouth. Let me be crystal clear. Yeah, we're concerned about it. That was the number 3 at the FBI, who for the life of me I can't figure out. He's still there. In some capacity. But think about that, she was also, as I said, working on Ukraine. Next question.
Will you be using both Monday and Tuesday to present your defense next week?
Well, I mean, as far as how long we'll go, I can't make that determination yet. Look, here's what happened. The Senate asked for an accommodation. We were prepared to go as long as they wanted us to go tomorrow. They asked, I think it was 10 to 1 was the final decision. We'll present from 10 to 1-ish.
So
and then
the Senate's decision.
Yeah, we're ready to go, but we have to. It's the Senate's decision. We respect the Senate's process. I think members had.
They gave you 24 hours, though. So they said, we don't want you to use all 24 hours?
No, they said, can you proceed for 3 hours tomorrow, and then take the other time you need to present your case? We will make the.
By the president saying that he
No,
was upset with TV ratings?
no, we'll be live on 10 o'clock tomorrow, I suspect. So, well, I mean, trust me, there'll be plenty to cover.
Mr.
Yes.
Hey, Jay?
Is the defense team at all concerned about ABC's reporting this morning of a recording reportedly showing that Trump said "take her out" about Ukrainian ambassador?
Was that the was this the one where they said it was there was a conversation that involved
And
that the
left
yeah no, I'm not concerned about that at all.
Jay, you have been a paid legal advisor to the president, right? You're a paid advisor. Are you still being paid for impeachment work, and the other lawyers also getting paid?
Yeah, lawyers are. I wouldn't say paid advisor. I'm the president's retained counsel.
And
Yeah, so I don't discuss my legal fees, but we're paid for our legal services. I'm not getting into that. Let's go ahead.
Grab the senator as well. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you talk about on tomorrow what we're going to see? We're not going to see Ken Starr or anybody like that.
Tomorrow?
Right.
No, I think you'll see I guess I would call it a trailer, coming attractions. That'd be the best way to say it. Obviously, we have 3 hours to put it out. So we'll take whatever time's appropriate during that 3 hours, kind of lay out what the case will look like. But no, next week is when you'll see the full presentation. But there'll be plenty to see. Senator Warren?